Testing. Check. Testing. Check. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Test 1 2. Check. Check 1 2. Testing. Testing.
How are ya? What's going on? I don't think you have to.
Listen. Is that better? Okay, is everybody ready? Okay, let's please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome to the meeting. We will start off with the approval of the minutes from the March 21st meeting and the April 11th meeting. If there's no discussion on this, they will be approved by unanimous consent. Any discussion? Okay, they are approved. We have several presentations tonight, so welcome everybody to the board meeting. We are going to start off with the SRU Elementary Career Expo. I think Mr. Carlson is going to do that, right? Good evening.
Members for audience members. All right, good evening, everybody. Thank you for having us. If I could have my kids and Mrs. Coleman just stand up, just so we can recognize some of the students. They are fifth grade students here at SRU. And we were asked to present projects we've been working on to go through the career standards in the state of Pennsylvania. So Ms. Coleman and I met to share some ideas, and we came up with doing a career expo. Kids always see the career days and they get to talk to other people doing careers. So we wanted the kids to shine. And so they've been working for about 4 months on what you see over there in the tables. We tried hitting all modalities. So we have a technology component, we have a writing component, we have some optional projects, we have some models and some books and some photos. And then the mandatory project, a home project, so they could work with families, is the board that you see standing up. And we gave them, because it's our first year, we gave them free reign on how they wanted to design them. We have some kids that have shown me that put lights on it. We have, as you can see, different things, different borders, different techniques, different strategies. So the kids have been working really hard to do this. We have interviews set up with some professionals around pretty much the East Coast that get to meet with our kids here this week, so they can interview those professionals to get a sense of if they want to do this or not. And just get some of that experience. And our goal was to create pathways for the kids. We ended up finding that a few of our students here tonight realized that this might not be the career for them, which I think is an interesting thing. And we have kids that have loved doing these things and chose to do additional parts of this project because they were into it. Mr. Collin has been a great support, so thank you, Mr. Collin. Mrs. Coleman, she's worked endless hours behind the scenes, making sure things are done to help the process along. We are having a career expo in May 16th, 6 to 8 p.m. down in the cafeteria, where we'll have hopefully all of our 70 kids showing up to do what you saw here tonight. And again, I've always wanted to do something like this, and I'm thankful for Mrs. Coleman, Mr. Collin, for giving us the opportunity to do this and let our SRU kids shine, but also have our students realize that there's so much out there. I didn't know that there's this much existed. And so with the use of Smart Futures that we use for the district, they did all their research, and then they put together what you see over there. Plus, we're also hitting several state standards, from the writing standards to the technology ISTE standards to, just the speaking standards. So this is really covering a whole realm of career stuff for these kiddos. And we hope that it's something they'll look back on and say, because of this, I'm where I am today. My parents have been great. They've been full supportive of this, not knowing what to do because we haven't had anything. So now we'll have stuff to share with parents moving forward. And we hope it continues to be a tradition here for our kids at SRU, and so that they will start walking the future and hopefully being able to see whether they want to do this or not. So that's a little bit of the background. Again, I would just like if we could give a round of applause to our fifth graders who had the courage to come up. And just watching these kids come out of their shells, from not wanting to volunteer in class, and some of my former students here probably know what that's like. And now watching them actually associate with adults has been really fascinating, and actually brings a lot of joy to me, knowing that this is the first time I've seen this all come together. It's been bits and pieces in class, and we have a long way to go to get ready for May, but we welcome everybody that's here. There are some invitations on the table. We welcome you to come and join us so you can see all our fifth graders in one place, and hopefully it'll be a wonderful event. I don't know
Chad.
if there's anything we need to add.
Yeah,
Some
could
questions.
could you take a moment and introduce each of the students that are here tonight? And what their career project is?
They want to come over.
Yeah, have them
So
come over.
all my kids, come on over.
The smiles went upside down now.
Very willingly. Very willingly.
So this is Nick Coleman. He did video game design. You don't have to talk.
You don't have to talk.
He doesn't, yeah. He did video game design. This is Kensley Bailey. She did elementary teacher, so elementary teacher. So that was the career that she went through. Very good. Okay, this is Natalie Yale. She did fashion design. So her board is straight away with the photos hanging on, and Kensley's the photo that makes the one there. Yeah, with you at the same thing, like content. I'm glad you're so excited.
Yes.
They did. This is Lila Carlson. She did golf course architect. So hers is on the end there. Okay, so you can see that they're super excited about it. So, but no, it was neat to see what they did there. So, thank you, Ken, for putting up the page. All right, thank you, board. Thank you, members of the audience.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Real quick, Mr. Carlson, and Mrs. Coleman, thank you so much for leading these kids through this project. It's really great that these kids get the opportunity at such a young age to explore careers. I think one that touches me is Ms. Bailey there, wants to be an elementary teacher. This year, Pennsylvania certified the lowest number of teachers ever at 4,400 teachers for 500 school districts. It's incredible. So it's a dire need for us, not just within Pennsylvania and Bradford County, but the nation as well. So we'll be looking for you in a few years. So thank you.
No. All right. Our next presentation this evening is the Athens Boys and Girls Swim Team. Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Swimmers, would you guys please stand up real quick? Thank you, Coach Keister. I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize our awesome accomplishments for our boys and our girls swim team this year. Not only in all the dual meets that they swam this year, they only lost one time total between the boys and girls. Both teams finished second place at districts. The boys and the girls, boys had 13 members on their team. Girls had 15. Of those 28 kids, 25 qualified for districts, most of any school in District 4. It's unbelievable. It's a great job that they did. We had many medalists at the district meet. And this year we broke 3 different school records, and all of them were in relays. So they were all show to the depth of our team. In the girls, we broke the record in both the 200 and the 400 freestyle relay. In the 200 free with the time 1 minute 47 seconds, it was Olivia Thompson, EJ Denlinger, Olivia Cherasnowski, and Tegan Williams. And in the 400 free relay, it was Tegan, Taylor Fisher, Olivia Cherasnowski, and EJ Denlinger. They did an unbelievable job. The boys in the 400 free relay at a time of 3 minutes and 27 seconds, they won district championship by almost 5 seconds. And that was Ethan Hicks, Ronell Ancom, Ethan Denlinger, and Chris DeForest. Also in the 50 free, Chris was the 50 free district champion, time of 23 minutes and 9 seconds. Both of those district champions, the relay and Chris individually in the 50 free, qualified for the state tournament, and they swam at Bucknell University. It was the best collective year that we've ever had in swimming. These kids are super dedicated, morning practices, unbelievable conditioning to go through it. I can barely swim the pool one time. So I'm very impressed by all you guys, but I just would like to give a round of applause to both our boys and girls swim team. Great job on all their accomplishments.
Mr. Sullivan, can you please introduce them individually?
Absolutely. Actually, will you guys come right up and I will make you speak as you are in high school. So come in here, make a proud. You can say your name, say what grade you're in, and any other information you'd like to give.
I'm Emily Marshall. I'm a junior and I'm a distance swimmer.
Yeah, say what it is.
I'm Olivia Cherasnowski. I'm in 9th grade and I'm a sprinter. I'm Kayla Marshall and I'm a freshman. I don't know what I'm in. I'm Elizabeth Denlinger and I'm a distance sprinter. I'm a freshman. I'm Akara Benjamin and I'm a senior and I was mostly a butterfly swimmer.
I'm Ethan Hicks. I'm a sophomore and I basically do anything.
I'm Ryan Gorman. I'm a sophomore and I'm a breaststroker.
I'm Tegan Williams. I'm a senior and I'm a distance swimmer.
Joe Blood, I'm a senior and I did whatever they needed me to do.
I'm Ethan Denlinger. I'm a senior and I did distance and some sprinting.
I'm Krista Forrest. I'm a senior and I do sprints.
I'm Ronald Uncom. I'm a sophomore and I also do sprints. Josh Leonard, I do butterfly.
Two other things that I'd just like to comment on our swim team. Traditionally, excellent academic performance for the kids. They do great in the classroom, and the camaraderie of the team. If you've ever been to a meet, the way they cheer each other on, root for each other, it's really awesome. So they really have that teamwork chemistry, and I think that's led to a lot of their success. But just very proud of them, and it was an outstanding season, and they deserve to be recognized for it. So thank you for the time.
Thank you. Great job. Thank you very much for coming. Yes. Wow. Okay, our next presenter this evening is our Bradford County Dairy Princess, Rachel Jelliff. Welcome.
Tonight, I will be giving a speech and I will be doing a milk toast, but I would like to start with the speech first. Good afternoon. I am Rachel Jelliff and I attend Athens and I'm from Ridgebury. My parents are Greg and Michelle Jelliff and my brothers are Andrew, Caleb, and Luke Jelliff. They have all been through the Athens FFA program. Where I am today speaking in front of you is all because of an intro to agricultural class that I took. I started off taking it my freshman year, which introduced me to public speaking and most importantly, FFA. Mr. Steinfeld, which is right back there, he is one of my agricultural teachers, and Mrs. Aldifer is my other teacher. They both welcomed me with open arms, which that definitely helped motivate me. And they also encouraged me to just strive to do my best. I don't think I've ever felt this much courage and motivation to do something I'd previously always turned down. 8th grade me would not have agreed to speak in front of more than 10 people. My first public speaking event led me to place 3rd in the county and 7th at regionals for the FFA Creed. Along with public speaking, FFA also offers livestock judging and dairy judging at the county level. Last year while livestock judging, I placed 1st in equine judging, and currently, a couple weeks ago, I placed 5th out of about 125 students in dairy judging. I also had the opportunity to attend states with my teammates Simon Beeman, Isaac Wilcox, and Magnolia Partials in agricultural sales. Although we placed 3rd out of 4 teams, I'm still extremely thankful for this opportunity that was given to me. I will forever endure this experience, including the last minute practices at Penn State Creamery 20 minutes before we were supposed to go out and we were eating ice cream. The stressful early morning practices in Mrs. Aldifer's room. The stressful 15 minutes in the waiting room while encouraging each other to just do our best and it'll all be okay. And the long bus rides will forever be what I love the most about FFA. Typically, when people imagine going to compete for these types of events, they just think it's going to be stressful and difficult, but I can promise you it is far from that. I will forever cherish these memories I have made from people from Athens, Northeast Bradford, Troy, Canton, and all throughout Pennsylvania. Despite the fact that many of my FFA friends from other schools are seniors, I'm still very excited to meet those new FFA members. At my first ever FFA banquet, I once heard the Sentinel say, "Through this door pass many friends of the FFA." I definitely didn't take it seriously then, but I am now. When I attended livestock judging this year, I took a moment and I looked around at my peers, and I noticed that many of them who introduced me to FFA and were there with me throughout everything, they are now leaving me, which I'm trying not to cry right now because I love them so much. But I just realized that that was my last event competing against them. And it was a very hard moment, very sad to think about. But then I thought about the new FFA members that I get to be what they were for me. Although sad to think about, I thought about how they get to plant their new seeds and make a new path. Despite the fact I have to say goodbye to my closest friends in June, I get to be the person they were to me. I get to help someone grow their love for agriculture. FFA has not just helped me develop friendships and personal skills like leadership, time management, and public speaking, but it also helped to prepare me for Dairy Princess. A big part of being Dairy Princess is gaining the courage to walk in front of big crowds and talk to people about the industry that you are most passionate about and the industry that helped to raise you. This also gives me a one-of-a-kind opportunity to teach people from all ages about agriculture and most importantly, the dairy industry. This gives me the opportunity to teach people from all ages, but specifically the younger generation. When we talked about the future of agriculture, the younger generation plays a big role in this. They are the future. The more we get the opportunity to develop into independent leaders, the more beneficial. Just because of one agricultural class, I strive to educate the future leaders. I've already started to prepare to run for state office, and just because of one silly little competition that I did not want to be in. This class helped shape my entire future. Little did 14-year-old me know this class would eventually develop me into a leader. I'm already developing lessons plans for a Teach Ag essay that I will eventually use for when I'm an agricultural teacher. I'd personally like to say thank you to the Athens Area School Board and School District for letting me embrace my passion. Not only did you help me embrace it through FFA, you also helped me embrace it through Dairy Princess. Now, if you look through my attendance records, which you probably don't want to, you will see that I do not have a star attendance, but that's not quite a bad thing. I was granted the opportunity to be excused for events like competing at state pageant and going to other events like elementary schools where I got to read to kids. I got to go to Martha Lloyd where I got to do projects and crafts. I got to go do radio spots on Wiggle 100. I got to go to the Pennsylvania Farm Show and work with girls all across the state who are in the same boat as me, trying to educate the younger generation. These absences may have been a pain in the butt to work up with school, but it means more to the farmers that I defend and to the community than you would think. Right now, more than ever, our farmers need our help. They need our support. They can get as much help as they possibly can get. If you look around us, our farms are fading. They're starting to go out of business. It's only a matter of time before we start to see a decrease in jobs, food production, limitation of land, and so much more. These absences allow me to bring attention to these matters that we desperately need to hear. So when I say thank you, it's not just from the Bradford County Dairy Princess or the Bradford County Dairy Princess Board, but I'm speaking on behalf of the farmers, the future of agriculture, and the community. Thank you. So now I'd like to do a milk toast. And I know that I didn't get to reach everybody in the room. I only brought 29 milks, but I do have some extra over here. You are more than welcome to come grab some if you'd like milk. But please raise your glass of milk or your beverage with me. To the dairy cow, the foster mother of humankind. To the farm families who work long but enjoyable hours. To the men and women of the dairy industry for their hard work and dedication. Please join me in toasting nature's most nearly perfect beverage, milk. Cheers.
Thank you, Mrs. Jelliff. I appreciate you, and you did great. She was
you.
Very
nervous.
good.
She did great.
Very good.
It's incredible. One of my favorite things to do each year is to participate in as a judge for the senior prepared speeches. And it's incredible to watch those kids perform. It's a growing thing. I've seen kids as juniors that come back as seniors and watch them improve. And Mr. Steinfeld's back there, and he'll testify to the fact that some of these kids walk into the room and you probably couldn't get them to say boo if their shirt tails were on fire, and they're memorizing speeches and acting like it's natural for them. So FFA is a huge organization. It's not just simply about agriculture. It's a lot about leadership and personal growth. So I always have a lot of great things to say about that. Before they leave, because I know the students will probably want to go when we get into our meeting, and you're welcome to leave. I just want to, there's a few people in here I want to recognize. If you're going to Penn State Altoona on Saturday, could you stand up? There we are. Our Science Olympiad teams are going to compete at states this weekend.
Sure.
And I want to wish them the best of luck and Ronell, Chris, Ethan and EJ. Good luck. I can't be there. I was planning on being there. I have a granddaughter turning 5 that day, and it's a rock and roll party, and I really don't want to miss that. I probably won't be allowed to come back home if I don't. So, but I do have a treat and a surprise coming for you guys. So good luck Saturday, and bring home some big titles for us, would you please? Thank you. And one more thing before the parents run out, and this will be count as my report. So let's just
Okay.
count it as that. Parents and coaches, I just want to thank you. Supporting our student athletes is a huge undertaking. It's more hours than you wish to sacrifice sometimes. There's a lot of gas that goes into traveling and putting kids where they need to be. It's a lot of commitment to you and to your children. As an aspiring parent who's trying to support a couple kids in sports, it's a difficult task, but we want to feed their passions and, let them experience those things that they might not get to experience later on in life. So thank you to all you do to support them and being the best they can be. So thank you.
Like Mr. Stage said, if you guys want to go, it's up to you. If you want to stay, it's up to you as well. What's up? You staying? All right. Up next, we have Mr. Sullivan again for his extracurricular activity report.
Thank you. Yes, there was an extracurricular committee meeting held yesterday, April 17th in my office at 6 p.m. We addressed a number of different topics. Number one, junior high uniforms, their condition was discussed for all sports. As sports cycle through the uniform rotation, junior high uniforms will be updated, ideally with reversible, budget-friendly options. They're also of a higher quality than our current stock. We did talk about our swim program and the unique challenge that presents, being that just Towanda and us are the only 2 schools with swim programs in the NTL. We reached out to the Heartland to ask them about the idea of potentially to seeing if that was an option to join their league, which it is not, unfortunately, because the Heartland is an all or nothing conference, meaning we'd have to join for every sport. I did reach out to the Wyoming Valley Conference today too, to see if there would be a possibility just for options for us. We're going to continue to just seek out opportunities for our swim program to just seek continuous improvement for the great athletes. A cost analysis document was shown and discussed how funding was spread across the various sports at Athens Area School District. Number 4, discussion was held about co-op situations with SARE and how costs were shared in said situations. 5, a discussion was held about after-school rec, summer rec, and youth sports in the district, and updates were given in each area. The strength and conditioning program with Pivot was discussed. Update was given on the successes and challenges of the new program. And lastly, the open head football coach position was discussed, and a date was set to conduct interviews for applicants. That was our minutes from our meeting yesterday.
All right, any discussion? Okay, thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Appreciate it. Okay, Mr. Stage, Superintendent's report.
I think I've said enough.
You've said enough. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Blast IU 17, we do not have any representation. Mr. Owen, NTCC.
No update at this time. Next meeting is in 2 days, so I'll have an update next time.
Okay. PSBA, Mr. Jones.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Okay, very nice. Mr. Barrett, welcome tonight.
Yeah, I apologize for missing last meeting. I got caught with my foot in my mouth, I guess. So I'm starting to recover. I appreciate the phone calls and the comments of concern. Last meeting, I reported to you that I would be attending the spring legal roundup, which was very good. We discussed relatively new cases, First Amendment cases, Title IX cases. labor relations, charter school updates, school code litigation, employment issues, electronic data and the loss thereof and the stealing thereof, and immunity update. It was pretty enlightening and pretty scary. In addition, I have reviewed a couple contracts, and we're trying to tweak those and get them back for your consideration. I have a old tax appeal which is not settled because of illness of the other attorney, and I think that may be wrapping up, which will end all the ones that were in the last stage. And of course, we have new ones coming all the time. We've worked on several personnel matters. And that concludes my report.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Barrett? Okay, visitor comments for board action items only. Please give your name, the township or borough you represent, the organization which you represent, and the subject matter. It's requested that comments be kept to 3 minutes. Comments relative to private student or employee matters should be directed to the superintendent outside of the meeting. Are there any visitor comments on board action items only? Okay, we'll move out. Okay, we'll move on to financial business. Do I have a motion and a second to move forward financial business?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, the financial business, we have a listing of the bills, general fund checks, cafeteria bills, earned income tax report, secretary's report, charter school funding reform resolution, and the request to pay routine bills for June, July, and August of 23. Any discussion on these items? Great, Christine, when you're ready, please.
Mrs. Smart,
Yes.
Ms. Braun,
Yes.
Mr. Charles
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Frisbee,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mrs. Minnick,
Yes.
Mr. Owen.
Yes.
Okay. Number 9, we have personnel items. We have a motion and a second to bring these forward.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a couple teacher retirements. We have some support terminations, some professional temporary contracts, athletic resignation, support contracts, supplemental contracts, athletic volunteers. Is there any discussion on these items? And we also have requests for student hires for building and grounds and the student IT department summer interns.
Is that typical when I just see that one is a retirement for January 31st of 2024? Seems like a.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. No, it's not typical, but it's not impermissible.
Okay.
So they, obviously, depending on their years of service and their age, they meet certain deadlines to retire. So, I think certain people will adjust, and we've had a couple, I think in the last 5 or 6 years that have had to retire in September or October. So it is unique, but not uncommon.
Enough time to plan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, Christine, when you're ready.
Ms. Braun,
Yes.
Mr. Charles
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Frisbee,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mrs. Minnick,
Yes.
Mr. Owen,
Yes.
and Mrs. Smart.
Yes.
Okay, number 10, are no contracts and agreements. We'll move on to number 11, policies. Do I have a motion and a second to move forward?
So moved. Second.
Okay, these are all the policies that Mrs. Smart was talking about last meeting. Letter P, the employee eligibility to operate district-owned motor vehicles will be tabled for further review. That's letter P, so that'll be tabled. The rest, you can see there are some second reads and there are also some first reads. So they're kind of mixed in there, but they're in order by the policy number. Any discussion on these policies?
What are we doing with the skateboard one? Still first read.
Last time we talked about pushing it forward because it's a first read and we can still discuss it once we get more information about that.
I have reached out to both of our Athens Township and Athens Borough Chief of Police and sought some clarification on ordinances concerning skateboards and e-bikes and other devices. So I will share that once I get some information back.
Thank you.
Okay, Christine, when you're ready.
Mr. Charles-Nosky.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Frisbee,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mrs. Minnick, Mr. Owen,
Yes.
Mrs. Smart,
Yes.
and Ms. Braun.
Yes.
Okay, number 12, curriculum and instruction. Do I have a motion and a second to bring those forward?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. These are the 3-year flexible instruction day that Mr. Toscano discussed last meeting. We have the Commonwealth University of Pennsylvania 3-year memorandum of understanding. And we have the class of 23 graduation date of Friday, June 9th at 7 PM. If there's inclement weather, it'll be inside the gym. Any discussion?
I thought the rain date was Saturday.
Historically, I think when you graduate on a Friday, they historically try to do it indoors on Friday night.
Sworn it was Friday and then Saturday. That's what was sent home.
I would, if you could share that with me, I would gladly.
Am I wrong, senior parent? Thank you.
Oh,
The kids are saying, but you guys got. Things again have been changed without notice. Just saying,
It's like the student said there was notice, so,
2 weeks ago,
well, there was some notice.
but not for a parent who planned in August. Just saying.
We have to, is that board, does that have to be board approved? Or how's that work?
I've never understood why we approve the graduation date. It should be at the discretion of the district to plan it based upon the weather.
Comment, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll leave it on, I mean, so that's something that if it does change, if it is Saturday, it doesn't really much matter, does it? Just Mr. Clark needs to get that out there.
Yeah, I can talk to
Okay.
them about that. for
Okay.
sure.
We'll make sure, Kathy Joe, if you have that, bring that to Mr. Okay?
Sure.
All right. All right, any more discussion on these items? Okay, Christine, when you're ready.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Frisbee,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mrs. Minnick,
Yes.
Mr. Owen.
Yes.
Mrs. Smart,
Yes.
Ms. Braun,
Yes.
and Mr. Charles-Nosky.
Yes. Okay. Do I have a motion and a second to bring forward transportation?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, this is the updated driver list. We have a couple additions for the van and a substitute. Any discussion on these? Okay, Christine, when you're ready.
Mr. Frisbee,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mrs. Minnick,
Yes.
Mr. Owen,
Yes.
Ms. Smart,
Yes.
Ms. Braun,
Yes.
Mr. Charles-Nosky,
Yes.
and Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Okay, there are no building and ground items this meeting. There's no other. Visitor comments, please give your name, the township or borough you represent, the organization which you represent, and the subject matter. It's requested that comments be kept to 3 minutes. Comments relative to private student or employee matters should be directed to the superintendent outside of this meeting. Are there any visitor comments?
So my name is Mackenzie Morgan. I can tell you what borough I live in, so we're gonna skip that part.
Work on that.
Mine and along with 3/4 of my classmates, our concern is our graduation caps. We have been told that we are not able to decorate them because it does not look professional. Where my class and all of my classmates agree with me, we have been, one, we are the last graduating class that went through COVID while we were in high school. 2, we have had the most stressful 4 years of our life. And 3, we have been ripped of a lot our senior year. Like, our class trip is now a day trip to Dairy Lake, when it was supposed to be a trip to New York City. And now we're just going to an amusement park. And now we're not even allowed to decorate our caps at all. So we're all really, really, really mad about it.
Have you tried talking to administration?
Yes, I did try to talk to Mr. Clark. And that was at a meeting that we had at the high school when we first were all told about it, and it was just kind of. He gave me an answer and that was it. What was his answer? That it looked unprofessional.
Wasn't there, I wasn't here last week, but wasn't there a memo that they could, as long as they had to run it by
Yeah,
Mr. Clark
so-
first?
Correct. And I believe I instructed Mr. Clark to meet with the seniors that did have this as a concern. I do know that that did not happen yet, but I do know that it will happen. I think it was supposed to happen this morning, but there was a miscommunication. So,
Because, I mean, me personally, I'm not in school, I do WOLA.
yeah,
So when stuff like that does happen, I don't know. No, I don't know about it yet.
for sure. Understandable.
When did the memo come out that they could?
There isn't a memo that says they could.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
All right. Thank you, McKenna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for speaking. Any more visitor comments?
Hi, I'm Makara Benjamin. I'm a senior from Athens High School and I'm representing the Ulster Township. I believe that's my borough. So, I just wanted to add to that. So it's the same thing, but I just have noticed, I also go to the Northern Tier Career Center and she does WOLA. So both of us face the problem that there's like a lack of communication when it comes to us not physically being in school. And I know that me and my mom have had the problem. So obviously it carries over to parents that we're just missing every memo that they're making about things like this. And when it came to the caps, it's just a little strange to me that after having done it either the past 2 or 3 years, I'm not sure exactly, of decorating it, they're deciding 3 months out from graduation that we no longer can. But we're also hearing whispers that we're allowed to, or that we can approve it, which all of us would be more than willing to send in an approval. We've done it for parking spots. We do it for our senior quotes. It's not uncommon and we're willing to do it, but I just wanted to say that if it does get brought up between you guys and Mr. Clark when we're not around, that this is how we're feeling, so you guys can see that and you guys can like have our perspective. And I also just wanted to say that if there's like concerns, we're more than willing to make like come to an agreement on things. But there was something mentioned from my English teacher. The English teachers talk to most of us about things because they have all of us, and she kind of relays that information that you could go and get something approved, but only if it was very important to you. So it was like under certain circumstances, but then there was also, oh, all students can go now, but there's a lot of confusion going on. And another note that I had was, if they're concerned about like students trying to pull something over them, like they go get something approved and then at graduation, they do something that you obviously find inappropriate. It's just not allowed. They made it very obvious that if students tried to decorate caps and they came to the ceremony, every student had 1, 2, 3 extra caps that they'd give them. No matter what, you were going in with a blank cap. That's what they said. They had a replacement cap for any student who tried to decorate it. So even if they do let us go decorate our caps, if somebody tries to come in with one that's inappropriate, just give them a replacement. That's the punishment they face for not listening to the rules. So I think that's another agreement we can come to. And also, if he's worried about it looking unprofessional in photos and stuff, because I know we use a lot of our own photos for advertisements and stuff, the caps don't face the crowd, which I know was like brought up last time. So even if they do look kind of junky and they don't match and stuff, it's not facing the crowd in photos. It doesn't matter. It's just personal expression. And 90% of caps that I see are just the college or the workforce that the kid is going into, or an inspirational quote, like something they've lived by to get them through the past 4 years, or photos of their family. And I just think it's personal. I don't think that it's anything to be taken the wrong way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Makara, your Northern Tier Career Center slot is morning, correct?
Yes. So
Okay.
I missed the morning.
I have
class.
heard this from others that the announcements, because you go directly to the Career Center, you're not at school for morning announcements.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Makara.
Any more visitor comments?
Hi, I'm Abby Minnick and I'm a senior at Athens Area High School. I'm from Vickberry Township. I'm also going to be building on the decorating caps and not being allowed to this year. When we had the original meeting to retrieve and get our caps and gowns, we were told that it's unprofessional and sloppy, not traditional to decorate our caps. And when Mackenzie asked about that, it was pushed off the table and really wasn't a good answer, I don't think. And I personally, along with some of my friends, have tried to reach out to Mr. Clark and ask him to meet with us regarding the decorating caps, and he has yet to get back to us on any of it. We went today, he wasn't at the school, and we're being told tomorrow morning, so hopefully we can, but we're also being told that it's the parents' day and not the kids' day. But that doesn't really make sense because I've done my work all these 12 years I've been in school. I've earned the scholarships I've done. I've earned the grades on my tests, and now I can't even decorate my cap on my future and what I want to do. I don't think that's really fair to anyone that has worked really hard. I don't think it's fair for him to say that it's the parents' day when we all have sat here through the 4 years of high school, the hard 4 years of high school because of COVID. And now we can't even decorate our caps.
Thank you.
Ladies, I first of all want to thank you for your advocacy. I think coming to a board meeting is very difficult, and then speaking about something that's intensely personal to you, it's also very difficult sometimes. So you handled yourselves very well. I will make sure that meeting happens with Mr. Clark. Okay. I will guarantee that it happens tomorrow. If it doesn't happen tomorrow, you guys can come talk to me directly. Okay. And we'll handle it that way. I do think that the conversation needs to be had at the building level. That's Mr. Clark's job, is to conduct graduation. I do understand you have very reasonable points, and I think there is a compromise in there somewhere. So thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Craig. Is there any way we can do a notification so they know when it is? When the meeting can be set up, just put a notification so the kids all know.
Yeah, so how this works, Ms. Cooper, is they have to ask for a meeting with Mr. Clark, which I
Gotcha.
believe has already happened. And then those students will get a time to return during the day.
Perfect.
I know that I think a meeting was requested on Monday, if I'm not mistaken.
It was requested last week.
Okay. I'll get that all corrected and you'll have your meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I have a clarification now? Is this the first year that they have not been able to? And
No, we started this probably in some respects in the year 2020.
I wasn't. my
Kids
daughter-
decorated their caps in 2020.
Yeah, no, I said we
I was-
started
My
in
daughter
Started
graduated
2020.
2 years ago.
in 2021.
And that was the
the last
highlight.
2.5 years
for
we've done
her.
that.
When did your kid
I
graduate?
don't know if I'm allowed to speak as a parent.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I think in the big picture, pick the battles, and as a student, having to decorate, yeah, I mean, I think they're reasonable. People's not gonna put,
No,
bad things on, but to take that away and cause, the end of their school year to come down to feel like a battle is kind of sad. And I would hope that Mr. Clark would make a decision what's best for the student.
Yeah. And thank you, Mrs. Braun. I will share that we have done it in the past. We have set clear expectations. There are explicit reasons or things you could put on your cap. And there is a stipulation that we've always had. If it's inappropriate, it gets inspected on the day, like when they walk out
Sure.
from the high school or from Lynch, they're all looked at. And if it's inappropriate, they get switched out, which we've never had to do. We've never had to do that.
That was when the highlights of my daughter, her friends, they literally had a part. It was very cool to watch, and I just would feel sad if they took that away. So.
So I'm Mary Brown. I'm Ulster Township. I'm Makara's mom. I'm not gonna go over everything because the girls pretty much covered it, but so you just said that we've been doing this since 2020. We've always come to a compromise. So my question as a parent is why all of a sudden is it nixed 3 months before graduation?
My question as a parent is why all of a sudden are my daughter's senior photos in a certain cap and gown, and now the cap and gown has changed without my knowledge. So my question as a parent is why we get all these communications, but all of a sudden our senior year, we're not getting communications. So I would like the board to make a decision on these. Because like, do I have to get my daughter's graduation pictures redone because now she's in a different cap and gown because it's not professional? And I know, last board meeting, it said something about it's a community event. It's not a community event. It's an event for these seniors and these students. The community is the families that are there to support these kids. So it's not about anything other than the families for these seniors. So I kind of thought that was a little bit of a BS comment when they said it was a community event. It's not community. Everybody's there for students. In my opinion, they're there for a senior that they've watched grow for 13 years. And we've made it to some pretty good adults for this community, in my opinion. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Okay, any more visitor comments, please? Yes.
Hi, my name is Peggy Pelchy and I reside at 37 Rosebud Lane. I'm a parent of a senior. Last month, our seniors were given their graduation caps and gowns. During that meeting, they were also told that they were not going to be allowed any decoration on their caps. The reason for this decision was that it was going to look sloppy. This is coming from my seniors, so. And yes, that decision caused some grumbling among the senior class. The graduation cap is one of the most famous and familiar symbols of graduation. A senior decorating their graduation cap is a great way to express themselves and share the excitement for what the future may hold for them and their classmates. Cap decorating hasn't been an issue until this year. Why? Are we saying that all classes before this one look sloppy? When did our students' freedom of speech and expression get taken away or have limits put to it? Seniors were told that they needed to meet with Mr. Clark on an individual basis in regard to cap decorating. From what I've been able to gather, multiple students have tried to meet with him since last Thursday. Today, 3 students were supposed to meet with him. However, when they got to the office, they were told he was out of the building at another meeting. I personally understand that things come up, but these students should have been told prior to coming to the office. The procedure that was told to the students by the administration is not working. Students are being very, very respectful and are doing what has been asked of them, but in return are not getting the respect that they deserve. I'm asking that the decision about cap decorating be left up to our students as it has been done in the past. Let the girl who wants to do it in memory of her dad do it. Let the kid who struggled every day just to wake up and walk through the doors, put an "I did it" on his cap. Let the kid who lost his grandma put a picture of her on his cap, all without hesitation or fear that they'll get in trouble. Please do not ignore this. Obviously, it's a very important issue to our class of 2023. Please allow the members of the class of 2023 to make their own decisions when it comes to cap decorating. These kids have definitely busted their butts for the past 13 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Stage.
Yeah. Yes,
One of the things that I'm hearing that I find very concerning about this entire discussion is that there is no consistent communication, to everyone, so everyone gets the same message.
Yep.
And this discussion of people coming down one at a time to meet with Mr. Clark to make a decision, it just doesn't sound like everyone is going to get even the same information or have that equally. Is there a way that we can make sure that all seniors are aware of what the policy is and what changes or what they will be allowed to do so that everyone has that information equally? Because right now it really doesn't sound like there's a consistent message.
absolutely. I'll take care of that.
For all students, WALA and
Yep.
NCCC and.
It'll be taken care of.
Okay.
I think in the future, maybe the classes should be able to decide rather than administration. I think the students should be given the option and the choices, and I don't think that should be taken away from them unless there's,
something has been done to, like, as a punishment, okay, you can't do that. But these kids deserve the respect that they've earned. And I think one person making a decision on their day that's not even, hasn't even been there for their entire 4 years of high school is inappropriate.
And to clarify, I guess, so because this is all kind of new to us, we did not make these decisions. I've had others say, before about us, why are we doing it? This was not a board decision. So I guess this was at the administrative level, right? For the,
Correct.
okay. And if we, do we ever supersede that if we find that it's not appropriate?
I certainly think you can give us recommendations, but I would be cautious of making policy decisions in such a small environment.
But I think what Mr. Stage is saying, Mr. Clark, he's gonna take care of this. He's gonna get us some information. And if you could update the board on that, Mr. Stage.
I will report back directly.
Okay.
Ladies, you will have your meeting before the end of business tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for coming tonight.
All
I
right.
appreciate you. Yeah.
One last time for visitor comments. Any last visitor comments? Okay.
I want to thank the 3 seniors that showed up tonight. I think it takes a lot of courage to stand up there in front of strangers and the board.
Thank you.
And I think that's showing their democracy and their freedom that according to our policies, we are trying to instill in the students.
I agree. Okay, last few items. We have some board communications. We have personnel transfers within the district. We have the school Sunday facility use request. We have field trip request and Nutrition Inc. We also do not have any board discussion items at this time. 19, plan for future meetings. It was discussed prior to this to have one voting and work session meeting in the month of May. Mr. Stage is requested to have Tuesday, May 9th at the Athens Area Administration Office at 7 p.m. with committees at 6:15. Is everybody okay with that change? Okay. So it'll be one meeting in May then. Is there a need for an executive session? So we'll have a brief executive session with no board action followed. If there are no more discussion items, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you all for coming. Let's sign anything tonight. Library, we're here. Library.